Welcome 5th grade to Lesson 4-5, Part 2, Dividing by One-Digit Divisors Using Doubles Division. Your learning goal for this evening is to use doubles division strategy to divide by one digit. Your learning goals for tonight are the same as Lesson 4-5, Part 1, so you don't need to write those down, but let's just review them. To know the steps of division, divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. To memorize all multiplication facts. To use estimation to make division easier, and to check your division by using multiplication. This ensures that you've helped yourself get the right answer. You have one vocabulary term for this evening, and that is the doubles division strategy. A division strategy where the divisor is doubled several times to divide without using multiplication. That's the strategy we're going to use tonight to see if it helps you come up with an easier way to divide numbers. Let's go back to that. Take a minute, let's write that in your journal, pause the video, and continue when you're ready. All right, let's look at the example together. The double trouble way to divide, or the doubles division strategy, is this. I'm going to show you how you can double your divisor several times and then divide that into your dividend without multiplying. It is just another way you can use. If you can divide in your own way, that's great, but I just want to show you a different strategy this evening. So let's look at this problem, 648 divided by 5, and see if it'll help you. All right, let's look at this different strategy and see if this is going to help you. All right, so let's look at, my pen doesn't seem to want to work here tonight. All right, so let's look at 648 divided by 5. The way we do this is we take the divisor and we double it. We're going to double it 4 times. So once, then we double the 1, we double the 2, we double the 4. So we've doubled it, doubled it, doubled it, doubled it. So each time, and this is the same strategy you use every time no matter what number you are doubling. So we're going to think, can 5 divide into any of these numbers? Well, it can divide into the 6. So over here to the side, we're not going to put anything up top yet. We're just going to look to the side. So 5 we know can divide into the 6. So we're going to subtract that 5 from here. Since we're not writing anything up here, we're going to use our space over here to the side. And we know that that went in there one time. We have these 2 spaces left over here, and we do what's called annexing them. So we're going to pretend that there's zeros there, even though we're not subtracting from those yet. But since we annex those over here next to the 1, which 5 times 1, we're going to put these 2 zeros that we annexed here. 6 minus 5 is 1. And remember, when we bring down numbers in division, we only bring down one at a time. So now we just bring down the 4. We look again here at our numbers that we doubled. Which number is closest to this 14 without going over? Well, when you notice it, it's going to be the 10. So we are going to subtract the 10. Which of these numbers correlates with the 10? Well, that number is the 2. So over here in this column, we're going to write that 2. When we look here, how many numbers do we have to annex, which is our word of choice? Well, just one number. So since there's just one number, when we put our 2 here, we just add 1 0. But now we can subtract. 14 minus 10 is 4. Now we can bring down our 8, and we look here to our side. Which number is closest to 48 without going over? Well, that is the number 40, so that's the number we're going to subtract. What is the number we multiplied by to get to 40? That would be the 8. There are no more numbers over here to annex, so when we put our 8 over here, we don't have any zeros to add to it. So we can subtract 40 from 48, and we're going to get 8. Since there's no numbers to bring down, 8 becomes our remainder. So now we have remainder 8. Since we are done and we have our remainder, we are now ready to add these numbers together. 8 plus 0 and 0 is 8. 2 plus 0 is 2. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So this becomes our quotient. And we have done this without multiplying anything. But let's check by multiplication and see if we are correct. So let's over here to the side, since we have scrap paper, which you should have too, we're going to multiply these and see if these works. So we take our quotient multiplied by 5, which is our divisor. 5 times 8 is 40. Put my 0, carry my 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14, carry my 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. And what do you do with your remainder? You always add your remainder into your answer. 0 plus 8 is 8, 4 plus nothing is 4, 6 plus nothing is 6. And if you notice, 648 and 648 match. And if you've done that, then you've gotten the right answer. So now you get to practice this on your own. Let's look at this and see if you can do this. All right, I want you to do this practice problem trying to use your doubles division strategy. And if you can't remember it, go back and look at my example one more time. Pause the video, try it on your own, and then we'll do it together. All right, did you get 67? Let's see it, and let's see if we did this correctly. All right, let's try this together. So 4, let's get my pen ready again. Okay, so let's try this. So 469 divided by 7. Remember, we have to double these. So you've got 14, 28, and 56. This is really crooked over here. Then you've got 1, 2, 4, and 8. So if I'm looking at the 4, nothing can go into the 4, so I'm going to put an X up here above my 4. Thinking of 46, which of these numbers is closest to 46 without going over? Well, I know it's the 28, so I'm going to subtract the 28 from the 46. Which of these numbers correlates with that? It is the 4. I'm going to use this space over here because I kind of ran out of space over here. There's only one number over here that I need to annex, so I'm going to add that 0 for that one space here. But I'm only subtracting the 28. So I have to borrow from the 4. That becomes a 3. 16 minus 8 is 8. 3 minus 2 is 1. So let's see if this is going to work. Are there any other numbers here closest to 18 that I can put into this number again? Well, I see that there is 14. So again, I'm going to subtract the 14 before I bring down the 9 because I can still subtract from this column. And again, I notice that this number is 2, so I'm going to add the 2 here. I can still annex one number here because there's still this space over here where I'm carrying the 9. So I still have to add in a 0 here. When I subtract 18 minus 14, I get a 4. And now there's no other numbers here that can go into 4 evenly. So now I can bring down my 9, and I can see any numbers here that divide into 49 that are closest to 49 without going over. I notice that it's the 28, so I'm going to subtract 28. When I subtract 28, I'm going to get 21, and I'm going to run out of space here in a minute, so I'm going to scooch it over. Again, what number's closest here? Did I add my 4 in? I didn't add my 4 in, so I need to add my 4 over here. But there were no numbers to annex, so I don't have to add a 0 here. So I just put it in my 1s column because there are no zeros. When I look at my 21, what numbers are closest? I notice that it's 14. So I want to subtract my 14. This is my 2. I add my 2 here. No numbers to annex, so I don't add a 0 over here. When I subtract 21 minus 14, I'm going to get a 7. I'm sorry for the messiness over here. When I subtract that and I get 7, notice I just went over to this column here. I notice that 7 can go into 7, and it goes one time. I'm going to add that 1 right here, subtract that 7, and I'm going to end up with a 0, which means I'm not going to have a remainder because there's no other numbers to bring down. So now I notice that that 7 went in there just one time. Now I need to add all those numbers together. 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7, and 4 plus 2 is 6. And if I go all the way up here, 67 is my answer. But let's multiply just to make sure. So let's take 67 times 7 and see what we get. 7 times 7 is 49. Put my 9 there, carry my 4. 7 times 6 is 42, and 42 plus 4 is 46. And that number matches that number. We must have done it correct. Good job if you got it right. Now let's try one more. All right, 738 divided by 9. Try that on your practice problem again. See if you can get it right, and then let's check it together. Pause the video, and when you're ready to start again. All right, Let's do this one together. See if you got it right. 9. Let's get this ready again. All right, let's try this. I'm losing my voice a little bit. 9 divided into 738. Let's do our doubles down the side. Remember, these are always 1, 2, 4, and 8. Then you're going to have 18, 36, because we double these, it's just skip counting, and 72. All right, looking here, 9 is too big for 7, so we're going to put an X up here because nothing's going to go into that spot. Now we can look at 73. Any of these numbers that are smaller than 73, well, we know that 72 is, so that's the number we're going to subtract from 72. How many times? What's the number in front of 72? It is 8. So over here to the side, we're going to put our 8. Remember, there's that one space we can annex. So we put our 0 next to our 8 over here. But we're only subtracting the 72 again. So 73 minus 72 is 1. None of these numbers, they're all too big for the 1, so nothing's going to go into that. So now we can bring down our 8. Which of these numbers are closest to without going over to 18? Well, obviously 18 is the exact number, so that's the number that we're going to choose. So we're going to subtract our 18, but before we do that, what's the number in front of the 18? It's a 2. There are no other numbers to bring down, so there are no numbers to annex on this right side, so we don't need to add any zeros over here. So we are done, and there's no numbers to bring down, and 18 minus 18 is 0. And again, there's no remainder because it comes out evenly. So now we add these numbers up. 2 plus 0 is 2. 8 plus nothing is 8. So this becomes our quotient. 82 becomes our quotient, and that's what that is. But let's check with multiplication again. So 82 times our divisor, which is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. Carry a 1. 9 times 8 is 72. Plus 1 is 73. 738 matches our dividend of 738. Now remember, this is just a way to make division easier. It's just another strategy that you can try to use without having to do multiplication. And I think it makes it really easy. Once you understand that all you have to do is double these numbers, double here, it makes it much easier. So maybe do this and try to practice a couple other problems at home. Maybe even practice a couple with your parents and see if you can do it. I think you might like this. It's kind of fun. All right, your challenge problem for tonight is this. Use the double trouble way or the doubles division strategy way to solve the following division problem. 3,240 divided by 45. Write your answer in your journal. Show all your work. All right, review your learning goals for this evening. Do you have the learning goals written in your journal? Do you have the vocabulary written? Except let me go back to the first one. You don't have to write your learning goals for tonight because I told you that at the beginning. Do you have the practice problems written in your journal? The challenge problem written in your journal with your answer written down? And you've now completed it. Please make sure, though, that you write a 1, 2, or 3 for your understanding in your journal and any questions that you may have for this and for your teacher tomorrow. You did a great job. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.